What's up, everybody? Did you know that there's 4 main varieties of ramen? Today I'm going to talk about the Shoyu style ramen, aka the soy sauce based ramen. I went on a buck wild hunt through Tokyo, Japan, looking for the best Shoyu ramen I could find. So sit back and relax because the Shoyu Ramen tour is about to begin. What's up, everybody? So the first stop on the Shoyu Ramen tour is a restaurant called Nakiryu. This place's claim to fame is it's the second ramen shop in Japan to get a Michelin 1-star rating. Sounds good on paper, but because of that damn rating, I had to wait 1 hour just to get myself a bowl of ramen. Plus, this was back in February, so by the time I got into the place, I was freezing my tits off. This ramen better be good, that's all I can say, so I ordered myself the special Shoyu. And after that ramen maestro slammed that ramen in front of my face, even I got to admit that ramen's looking pretty good. Question is, was it worth freezing my gonads and vas deferens? Only time will tell. I mean, hey, I'm not trying to be pessimistic over here, I just don't like long waits. Anyway, enough with all that chatter, now it's time to try out the broth. So I took myself a sip and was immediately taken aback. I was expecting a little more on the flavors side, but this was tasting delicate, real delicate. I couldn't taste much flavors popping off, to be honest. Supposedly this thing has essence of fish, scallops, and seaweed in it. Well, I couldn't detect any of those flavors in there. I guess I pretty much had to take their word for it. The flavors in this thing are so damn subtle that for all I know, there could be essence of shrimp dick in there. But hey, what do I know? This place has a Michelin fucking star, so I guess I better rationalize waiting for a damn hour. I mean, the meat is looking good, I have to admit that much, so I took myself a bite and it was even tasting good. It was tasting soft, it was tasting succulent, but was it 1 fucking hour succulent? That's all I'm trying to figure out here. So let me calm my nerves and try out my favorite part of the ramen bowl, the eggy wig. So I took myself a bite and whoa, what the fuck? My fingers were still feeling numb from waiting 1 hour in the cold that damn egg shot out of my chopsticks as soon as I took a bite. My wrist is cold as hell. I think if this place is really a Michelin 1-star rating, they should have given me a hand warmer. Anyway, despite that cold wrist action, even I got to admit that's a decent egg right there, but is it 1 hour decent? Alright, fuck it, no more beating around the bush, baby. I'm just gonna come out and say it. What's up with this whole Michelin star thing? People are taking food advice from a tire company. That's like taking rocket science advice from a dick pill company. But then again, I don't know the whole history behind the Michelin star thing, and everyone else gives rave reviews to this place, so I guess I better fall in line. Well, fuck it, baby. I'm just gonna give you my honest opinion over here, just like I always do. This bowl of ramen is both edible and incredible, with a subtle soy sauce flavor that's worthy of becoming borderline aroused over. It's got top-notch presentation with perfectly cooked oishi noodles, but is it really 1 hour oishi? I think it isn't. I mean, the thing about Japan is there's so many good ramen joints, and restaurants in general for that matter, that I think there's rarely a reason to wait 1 hour, at least that's my opinion. So while this bowl of ramen was good, dare I say real good, I think I'm gonna skip out on visiting any other Michelin star restaurants for this tour, and I have a funny feeling that my vas deferens will thank me later. So the next ramen shop stop on this riveting Shoyu Ramen tour is a place called Shibata. I only had to wait 20 minutes to get into this place, so I already felt ahead of the game. Now apparently this place is famous for a Shoyu ramen bowl that uses both chicken and duck stock. So I ordered up that puppy, and personally, I think it's looking swell as a motherfucking bell. It kinda has a rustic look to it, and the hue of that shoyu broth is looking deep. It looks like the kind of broth you just want to slurp down at high velocity, baby. So I figured right about now is time to try out that broth, so I gently moved the egiwig out of the way and took myself a sip. And holy shit, I think I hit the jackpot with this broth. It's pretty damn oily, which I like by the way, and it's tasting soy saucy but not too soy saucy, and actually I can taste the duck and the chicken. It's got a sort of hearty, chicken soupy, ducky kind of flavor. I never had a ramen broth quite like it, and I must say I'm pretty impressed. So next up I took a bite of that meat, and oh my dogs. That meat was kinda chewy. It wasn't exactly succulent, but still somehow it had a pretty good flavor to it. It was tasting pretty ducky and pretty gamey, and overall I was feeling borderline frisky over here. I mean, I could just be enjoying this bowl so far because of the psychological effect of not having to wait 1 fucking hour. But I think even taking that shorter wait into account, I still like that bowl for what it is. What can I say? I guess I'm a sucker for that hearty, hometown, down-home flavor. Truth be told, if I was in the comfort of my own home right now, I'd shovel this bowl down my throat so fast it would make your dick spin. But because I'm in the public eye right now, trying to maintain appearances, I ate that bowl nice and slow-like. So I moved on to those noodles and took myself a bite, and whoa, baby. They were a tad heavier than expected, but overall they were pretty damn good. Again, the main thing I could taste was the flavor of that broth, so of course I was loving those noodles. What can I say, sweetie buns? I'm a duck man through and fucking through, and I think it's safe to say that this bowl was just what the doctor ordered. Now here's the real moment of judgment. I grabbed myself that Ajitama, aka Egiwig, and got ready to take a bite. So I took a little chomp, and whoa, what the hell is going on around here? That damn Ajitama was getting a little slippery on me and went shooting out of my chopsticks. I feel like these chopsticks are waxed up or something, and that Egiwig is greased down to the max. I mean, I think I have pretty good chopstick skills, so I don't know how the hell that happened, but I'm gonna try to move on with my life. Point is, that was a good fucking Egiwig, albeit a precarious one. So after that little Egiwig episode, the meal went on without a hitch, and overall, I gotta say, that was a pretty damn good bowl of ramen. I not only felt sensually excited by this bowl, but I also felt spiritually satiated as well. Key takeaway, nice fucking duck bowl right there. So the last ramen shop stop on this tour is a little place called Ramen Jun Kamata. Apparently this place is famous for having some Niigata-style Shoyu Ramen, and I figured I'd give it a whirl. Now, I don't know much about this whole Niigata thing, but apparently Niigata is a seaside city that's famous for putting seaweed in its soup bowls. So as you can see, this bowl of ramen is topped off with a shitload of dried seaweed over here. I never did have a bowl of ramen topped off with that much seaweed before, so I was getting pretty excited to try it out. But you know what I was really excited about? I was excited about the fact that I had to wait 0 fucking minutes to get into this restaurant. I mean, there were a lot of customers in there, but then again there was also a lot of seating available. That's a pretty advanced technique if you ask me. Mother Michelin better take note. Anyway, once I started trying out this broth, I was pretty surprised. Not only was there seaweed on the top, but the broth itself was tasting like seaweed. The broth kinda tasted like how the ocean smells, if that makes any sense. It tasted like sea salt and seaweed. It was a pretty interesting flavor, not bad, but not really good either. It's not really my first pick, let's just put it that way. So next up, I grabbed myself a huge ass piece of meat. The thing's pretty thick right there, so I took myself a bite and whoa, baby. That wasn't the softest meat in the world, but it was definitely juicy as hell. And even though I'm not a huge fan of the massive seaweed flavor in this bowl, it's pretty nice to get the occasional seaweed flake. It kinda adds a little diversity to the whole chow experience, that's all I'm trying to say. And man, oh man, look at that meat situation, the fucking thing is covered with a shitload of seaweed flakes. And overall, that meat and seaweed is a pretty nice combo, definitely worthy of a 0-minute wait. But I think what I really need to do right now is I need to give that Agiwag a try. I guess I gotta make sure I have a decent enough grip on that thing before I shove it into my mouth, so let's take that puppy nice and gentle like, and oh man, look at those chopstick skills, I actually maintained control of the Agiwag. Now, that Agiwag was tasting pretty damn good, much like they always do, but compared to the other two Agiwags, it might be the weakest. I mean, the Michelin-star Agiwag had the best yolk, and the duck broth Agiwag had the best overall flavor, but this one? It was just kind of your standard run-of-the-mill, no-frills onsen Agiwag, nothing to write home about, but still pretty good. Now these noodles, on the other hand, were a different story. These thick-as-hell noodles were tasting firm, yet supple. I mean, even though I wasn't a huge fan of the broth, the actual noodles themselves were tasting incredible, baby. They had kind of a chewy texture and a rich, almost Agi-waggy flavor to them. I mean, even though the broth of this ramen is pretty damn light, the actual noodles are so dense that I feel like this ramen is rich to the max. So after I polished off this puppy, I gotta say, it was quite enjoyable, I just wish that broth was a little more to my liking. So overall, after having these 3 famous ramen bowls, I think I'd have to say the Shibata was my fave. Second place was the Nakiryu, if you don't take the 1-hour wait into account. And the third place was the Ramen Jun Kamata. And I must admit, over the course of this Shoyu Ramen tour, my overall preference for Shoyu Ramen diminished a tad. I mean, except for that duck bowl, I feel like the general flavor of shoyu is just too delicate for my taste. I still like it, but I feel like it's probably my least favorite ramen style, that's all I'm trying to say.
By the way, I've got even more life-changing videos on Japanese food, so feel free to check those out. I've got a miso ramen showdown video, and I have a shio ramen showdown video. So click one of those links within 10 nanoseconds and you'll have good luck for 10 years.